só. Não tem como fazer barulho. Olha só isso aqui.
That was deep.
Katya is a full-time van life traveler who spends her days exploring new places, singing, and sharing her adventures online. In this video, she pulled into a quiet, picturesque campground and decided it would be where she stayed for the night. Everything felt calm as she got settled, relaxed, and recorded a few moments while warming up her voice. But the peaceful evening didn't last long.
Drinking watermelon moonshine, cut the burn with a little lime. I was his and every bit of that boy was mine. Too young to know what love was. 'Cause there's never nothing like the first time. It's always gonna taste like watermelon moonshine. The fuck? There are hunters out here. That's kind of freaky. I'm gonna close my van doors.
Out of nowhere, gunfire erupted nearby, instantly breaking the silence. Realizing something was very wrong, she reacted instinctively and closed the van door as fast as she could. Viewers later pointed out that right after the second shot, there seemed to be faint noises hitting the ground near her van. Possibly bits of leaves or gravel being disturbed, though no one could say for sure. The timing of the sounds made the situation feel even more unsettling. The gunfire seemed extremely close, and with nighttime hunting banned in most places, except for specific predator control, the incident didn't resemble normal hunting behavior at all. Many viewers believe the shots were meant as a warning. Even if someone had been hunting legally, firing that close to a designated campground is not just dangerous. It's genuinely terrifying. Lost in Wonder is hosted by a creator who loves spending time outdoors, sharing her camping adventures in unique and memorable spots. Her videos are usually peaceful and immersive, but this one took on a noticeably different tone. For this trip, she attempted a stealth camp at an old ruin believed by some to be haunted, giving the entire experience a darker atmosphere from the start.
I'm actually doing this. I just got dropped off and I'm hiking at the Bruce Trail, which is a long trail here in Ontario that goes from Niagara Falls all the way to the Bruce Peninsula on Georgian Bay. And this is just a very, very small section of it. And it goes through a ruin that is believed to be haunted. And I was reading about the story of William Black.
She was dropped off near the Bruce Trail in Ontario, a long scenic route running from Niagara Falls to the Bruce Peninsula. After a short hike, she reached the ruin, a deserted structure tied to unsettling local stories. At first, everything seemed perfect. She set up her tent, explored the broken walls, and slipped into her normal camping routine. But as the daylight began to fade, a subtle sense of unease settled in. While preparing her campsite, she noticed odd lights drifting between the trees. At one point, they almost seemed to move toward her before veering off and following the main trail instead. She couldn't tell if it was hikers, patrollers, or something else entirely, but the unexpected motion made the forest feel far less welcoming.
When I was setting up, I saw lights in the woods, and one time it looked like it was coming right at me. I don't know if it's hikers or if it is the park authorities doing rounds. Either way, they didn't come here to the ruins, they just walked through the path. But you know how it is at night, the light just really goes far. It is definitely getting cold. There is a chill.
As the temperature dropped, she tried to shake the feeling and continue her night. She made dinner, listened to the woods around her, and eventually got into her tent. Even then, the site's reputation stayed in her thoughts, especially with Halloween approaching, when curious visitors often venture into the woods hoping for something supernatural. Later that night, she heard footsteps nearby, much closer than anything earlier. She tried to ignore them and get some rest, but the sounds kept returning.
But I don't know, I have a feeling that more people may come by. It's pretty close to Halloween, and this is a pretty famous haunted ruin, so a lot of people will come here at night to see if they get to see the ghost of William Black. What the was that? I just heard footsteps, but this time they sounded much closer, not farther in the path. Okay, I'm gonna try to go back to sleep.
Other noises echoed deeper in the forest, feeding the impression that someone or something was moving around the ruins. Nothing approached her tent, and she stayed inside the entire time, unwilling to step out and check. Eventually, she fell asleep and woke safely the next day. Still, the footsteps left her questioning what she heard. A late-night hiker passing by, or an animal wandering through the area. Whatever the cause, spending the night alone at a remote ruin with a haunted reputation carried a sense of risk she couldn't ignore, especially without any form of defense. Fortunately, the experience ended without incident. Uploaded on July 15th, 2025, this Paranormal Discovery episode takes viewers deep into the Canadian backcountry, where an abandoned gold mining settlement remains standing, rotting, quiet, and overtaken by thick forest. The team had visited the region before, yet something about these deserted locations continued drawing them back. Not just one ghost town, but two, each reclaimed by nature and steeped in unnerving stillness. Official accounts attribute their collapse to economic downfall, but the atmosphere hints at something else entirely, as if an unseen presence in the area dislikes intruders. This particular site had once been the second most successful gold mine in the province. The land had previously been full of workers, machinery, and constant noise, leaving behind an energy the investigators felt still clung to the ruins. It also sat within the same vast wilderness as another abandoned community they had documented earlier. Two deserted towns in the same forest made the group wonder whether a deeper link existed between them.
We are back at a location where there is said to be a cryptid beast, but no one knows what it is. Back in the day, this used to be a gold mining town. This produced the second most gold in the province. This is the second ghost town that I was mentioning when Angela and I went to the Icelandic settlement and camped out in the cabin. So we're in the same wildland, but like just in a different ghost town. There's two ghost towns in this forest. Isn't that messed up?
It is.
Let's do it. Sketch, because the one thing that comes to mind when I do enter this spot is massive cryptid vibes, but also very spiritual. I came here by myself once, drove an hour and a half down this path into a place where I probably will never go again.
I still don't understand how you did this location alone. Like the last time I was here, I remember actually getting like really, really freaked out.
This spot, like I said, it has a vibe, and it definitely does not want people here. Whatever is here, just like that, it's almost like forcing you out without actually physically harming you.
When they arrived at their campsite, the air already felt heavy. Their phones immediately dropped signal, and a strange quiet settled well before the sky darkened. After night fell, that tension shifted dramatically. A peaceful evening quickly turned into chaos when sharp, metallic bangs echoed through the woods, followed by the heavy impact of something moving close to their tents.
What is going on out there?
What the?
What the f? Oh, this camera's still on. What time is it?
No clue.
Holy shit, it's like the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Chills. Something's moving out there. There's no fucking way. Was that the table? I literally just heard the rattle of the table.
I don't know. I heard a bunch of things, but I can half asleep. Okay, we've got to go out and check.
When they stepped outside, they found their camp in disarray. Tables toppled, fire pit stones thrown aside, and the ground disturbed as if something large had walked straight through the area. None of it looked accidental. The team described an overwhelming sense of being watched from every direction, as if the forest itself had become alert to their presence.
What's going on? But I swear, like the table that's out there, there's something. I'm like legit scared. Okay,
What?
our table's down. I knew it. The fire pit's caved in.
What?
Barbecue's still there. Our salad thing is down. The Blue Eddy's still there. I knew it. Our table.
Something knock over our table, or like did a gust of wind blow it down, or?
I don't know. There's no way. No, a gust of wind would not blow that down.
Yeah, because like our chair is still up, that tiny little chair in the cooler.
Something came and did that.
It's literally right next to us, like while we were sleeping.
Like this is actually messed up. Our stuff is literally knocked over there.
You hear that too?
What?
Do you hear that? It sounds like.
The ghost town beside them had once produced enormous wealth, but stories older than the mining boom spoke of strange forces and unsettled spirits connected to this land. As the night continued, shapes shifted just beyond their lantern glow. Insects buzzed, yet the woods lacked any sign of normal wildlife. Even the air seemed charged with a strange anticipation that made them question whether staying was wise.
God, like we're in danger. Like if we stay, we're physically gonna be hurt or killed.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm just trying to like I'm just starting.
I mean, I guess I was the first one to bring it up with the whole last dinner thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, my nerves are shot, hon.
Okay, should
Like,
we?
there's something out here that if we stay, I don't know if it's gonna break our car or like try and get in or hurt us. Like, I don't know, we're in a tent that like anything
Anything can get in.
By sunrise, the crew unanimously agreed to leave. They packed quickly, still shaken by what had unfolded. Later, they described the outing as their most disturbing experience, not because of what they saw, but because of what they felt. In that forest, nothing needed to shout or appear to be terrifying. The silence itself followed them long after they were gone. Jeff is a creator who normally posts guitar covers, simple, straightforward music with nothing unsettling about it. But in a video he shared on February 13th, 2021, things shifted in a direction he never expected. While at his home near a forested area in New Hampshire, he suddenly heard strange noises echoing from the woods. At first he assumed it had to be an injured dog or something along those lines. Curious and a bit uneasy, he stepped outside with his camera to investigate. He filmed around the property, hoping the sound would happen again, but the moment he started recording, the woods fell completely silent.
Okay. Heard a sound out here. So I'm recording in hopes that I hear it again. It's downright terrifying. But of course it stopped as soon as I started. All I can hear right now is dog barking, I think. Pretty sure that's a porcupine. That's not what I heard. I heard something quite different. But that was a porcupine.
Only distant ambient noise, barking and the usual calls of familiar wildlife, carried through the air. For a moment, it resembled the high, sharp cries that foxes or owls often make, and he figured that must have been the explanation. He began walking back inside, convinced the mystery was nothing unusual. Then, the sound returned, deeper, stranger, and coming straight from the trees.
There it is again. That's what I heard when I first came out. That is terrifying. That was either like the biggest, sickest coyote, or I have no idea. Wow. I've heard coyotes many times out here, all hours, from lone coyotes doing that long, like wolf type call to like a pack of coyotes yelping with a kill. Owls, fisher cats, foxes. I know that they sound crazy. That is totally different. That was deep. Oh my God.
It was nothing like the earlier noise. The tone was unnerving, and Jeff immediately realized it didn't match foxes, owls, fisher cats, or the coyotes that frequently travel through the region. Whatever was making that call felt completely unlike any animal he recognized. When the sound stopped, Jeff uploaded the footage, explaining that he had never heard anything similar before. Even after researching wildlife calls from the area, he couldn't find a match. In the comments, he reached out to hunters and outdoor enthusiasts, people experienced with the woods, to see if anyone could identify it. Many viewers said they had heard comparable eerie cries near their own homes, but had never discovered what caused them. Some suggested it might have been a moose in distress, and certain parts of the sound did resemble that. Still, there was a warped, unnatural quality to the call that didn't line up with typical moose behavior. Others leaned toward far more unsettling possibilities. Jeff remained unsure. While he acknowledged the similarities, something about the tone felt wrong, an odd, strained edge that made the noise seem like it came from something entirely different. He ended the video by asking viewers for their thoughts, hoping someone with more experience could identify the strange sound. It's September 20th, 2025. Along the edge of the US-Mexico border, YouTuber Sir Ronster gets ready for a trip that feels more like a challenge than a routine ride. Famous for his channel packed with electric bike adventures, stunts, and unpredictable travel missions, he's taking his Suron Ultra B and Vatra bikes across the border, chasing a sense of freedom on roads he's never seen. But some borders aren't easily crossed, and some routes don't guarantee a return.
I'm bringing the Vetra, available on Ronster Rides, and my new Suron Ultra B. For 2.5 hours of driving, we have reached the border checkpoint. First you cross through some scanners and then reach Human Border Patrol. I'm rolling down the windows and turning on the lights so they can see inside. They're asking me the reason for my visit, but quickly turn their focus to the bikes. They said I can't enter Mexico without registration for the bikes, but that's impossible, and it's 2 a.m. so the only qualified person I can talk to is at the other border crossing 20 minutes away. I'm getting escorted back into America through a back road, and you can see the massive line to get back into the United States. Thankfully, they're letting me cut the line, which just saved me a couple hours. Now I'm driving to the other border entry with fingers crossed. The good news is that they had no problem with the bikes here. My truck registration is 3 months expired, and you can't enter Mexico with an unregistered vehicle, so they turned me away again. It's now 4 a.m., so I'm taking the L and sleeping in my truck overlooking Mexico from the US side of the border.
At 2 a.m., the border lights stretch long shadows over his truck. His first attempt ends quickly, a refusal. Officers eye the bikes, ask for paperwork he doesn't have, and send him back. He drives 20 minutes to another crossing, hoping it goes differently. This time, they ignore the bikes and focus on the truck instead. Its registration has been expired for months. Another rejection. He parks near the border, close enough to see Mexico, but not close enough to reach it. The night stays still. He sleeps in the cab, listening to engines rumble around him. With daylight comes a new plan, a rented U-Haul. He loads the bikes, returns to the border, and this time, no one stops him. Sunlight spreads across the windshield as he heads deeper into Mexico. His first break is at an OXXO, a cold drink, fresh air, a worker cleaning the glass, simple moments that lift his mood after a long night. He finds his rental, a gated home overlooking the ocean, with a pool and a peaceful view that feels unreal after all the trouble. The calm is immediate. For a moment, it feels like everything has finally lined up. Then he begins exploring, riding through thick sand by the shore, weaving around dunes and palms, shouting into the wind. He tries a bright red prickly pear from a street vendor. He passes the Tijuana Arch, casinos, crowded roads, locals wave. The atmosphere feels laid back. For 12 hours, Mexico feels like a different kind of freedom. Until he reaches the road everyone warned him about, said to be the most dangerous in Mexico. He drives the narrow stretch, the world around him going quiet. Then, the footage cuts. When it resumes, he says only one thing: I had to leave.
The only establishment on Mexico's deadliest road is a fucking slaughterhouse. Why am I not surprised?
I really wish I could explain what happened. All I can say is that I have to leave Mexico, but I can't go back to the States yet, so I'm flying to another country, which will be a secret until next week.
Comments poured in. The cliffhanger, though: glad you're safe. Saw the arrest video. Others called it typical Ronster energy. Still, the abrupt ending raised questions. What actually happened on that road no one should take? Maybe he left Mexico behind that night. Or maybe something from that road never left him. The silence after his last words remains louder than anything he recorded. Uploaded on October 12, 2025, this video comes from Charles Acampamentos e Aventuras, a Brazilian YouTube channel recognized for genuine outdoor trips and nighttime explorations of abandoned locations. In this episode, Charles goes back to a deteriorating mansion once owned by a well-known local figure, a place that had frightened him on a past visit. With Adriano and Larry beside him, he steps again into the quiet estate, unaware that the same lingering fear is waiting for them inside.
Uma casa abandonada, aliás, uma mansão abandonada, onde nós já gravamos e passamos o maior perrengue nessa casa. Então resolvemos voltar para estar trazendo para vocês. Eu acho que vocês vão gostar do vídeo. O vídeo ficou bem interessante, apesar dos problemas que vocês vão ver no vídeo aí.
Estamos aqui, ó, seguindo para essa casa. Nós já tomamos uma carreira aqui, mas voltamos. Nós somos teimosos. Hoje eu tô com a Lari também. Daqui a pouco eu vou estar mostrando ela para vocês, para não clarear para trás, porque é muito perigoso esse local que nós estamos. Gente, essa casa aqui é bem sinistra. Foi de uma pessoa muito conhecida na cidade. A gente não pode estar falando o nome, mas é bem sinistra. Olha isso. Pô, deu um susto, hein? Me deu um susto agora, gente. Ele entrou por lá, eu não vi. Olha só isso aqui, gente. Que maneiro. Que top. Churrasqueirazinha. O cachorro veio aqui não, né? Olha que legal. Não tem jeito, ó. Como é que não vai fazer? Não tem como, não for pra não fazer barulho, mas não tem jeito. Olha só isso aqui, que banheirinho top. Nós estamos enrolados com essa telha. Olha só esse banheiro. Um azulejo também antigo. Interessante isso aqui, né? Gente, a gente não pode estar demorando muito.
The group starts by checking the exterior sections of the property, their voices bouncing softly off fractured walls. Charles reminds the others how dangerous the site is, remembering how they once had to escape quickly. Still, their curiosity pushes them onward. They walk through a courtyard and discover what used to be an open barbecue setup, complete with a brick oven and meal prep area now covered in dust. For a brief moment, it feels almost normal, until Charles jumps when Adriano unexpectedly appears from another direction. The tension returns immediately. Heading farther in, they reach parts of the mansion untouched for many years. Ceiling tiles have fallen and no furniture remains. Then faint noises cut through the quiet.
Pessoal, não tem como fazer barulho. Olha só isso aqui. O certo é não fazer barulho. Escuta. Ah não, é um cachorro. Olha só, gente. Tá tudo detonado. Quebraram tudo. Olha só, na pia, na cozinha bonita. Olha só. Como é que detonaram tudo, até o gesso, gente. Até o gesso. Os vândalos, eles vêm pra destruir mesmo, né? Isso aqui é uma despensa. Isso aqui era uma cozinha bem grande. Aqui era a despensa.
Charles signals for silence. They listen again and realize they are hearing a dog barking somewhere nearby. The sound intensifies, echoing through empty hallways as they move toward the kitchen. Everything inside appears destroyed. The plaster ceiling collapsed. The counters shattered. The barking persists, steady and loud, as if whatever is outside is circling the home. Even with the growing discomfort, they climb the unstable staircase to the second floor. Each step strains under their weight. The rooms above are in even worse condition. Broken walls, weak flooring. Charles mentions he feels as though someone could appear at any moment, just like during their earlier visit. The group chooses to wrap up the recording quickly, realizing the building no longer feels safe.
Olha isso aqui, gente. Olha essa lareira. Que maneiro. Lareira bonita demais. Olha só, de pedra, ó. Olha que top. Muito legal isso aqui, gente. Galerinha, que top. Pessoal, tenso, tá? Muito tenso gravar esse vídeo aqui, porque nós já tomamos uma carreira aqui, porque tem pessoas que vêm pra cá e ficam aqui pra fazer coisas erradas, né? Então, como os cachorros estão latindo, eles estão dando a nossa localização.
When they finally return to the main hall, they find a stone fireplace still standing among the debris. Before they can examine it, the barking begins again, closer this time. Their decision is immediate. They leave the mansion, ending the investigation sooner than they planned. Some viewers later commented that the barking seemed to track their movement even once they were outside. Many thought it was simply a stray dog protecting the ruins. Others believed it hinted at something unseen, an echo of whatever made the previous occupants abandon the house. One viewer remarked that the barking didn't sound ordinary. Was it coincidence, or something trying to warn them not to return? Whatever the truth, Charles won't forget that sound anytime soon. Uploaded on October 6th, 2025, this video is from Charlie Sinuan, a motorcyclist who has spent years riding solo across continents, turning long journeys into personal narratives. His channel mixes rugged adventure with moments of quiet thought, often highlighting the beauty and loneliness found in remote places. This time, he heads deep into the Argentine Andes toward Hotel Termas el Sosneado, an abandoned thermal resort surrounded by stories of strange noises after dark. Charlie intends to stay the night inside, entirely on his own. The day begins with a demanding stretch of riding. The dirt road climbs steeply, scattered with rocks and shifting gravel, and Charlie warns about a frozen stream ahead that becomes dangerous in winter. By the time he reaches it, the ice has melted, and water gently slides across the stones. He rides through, the engine's sound bouncing between the mountains.
Pero el verdadero peligro de esta subida es que hay un arroyo que atraviesa la ruta y que si se hiela puede llegar a formar una placa que ocupa todo el camino, lo que lo hace imposible.
A ver, por el costado yo creo que paso.
Todo esto era un patín de hielo en el vídeo de Sebas. Y Sebas se metió por ahí. Y bajó por aquí y cruzó este río así por ahí a las bragas. Y cuando llegó aquí, siguió y más adelante ya era imposible y tuvo que volver. Y al volver no consiguió subir y ya tuvo que entrar por el hielo y bla, 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 bla. Conclusión, creo que vamos a llegar al hotel abandonado porque no hay nada de hielo aquí. Bueno, pues una vez más he tenido suerte. O estoy yendo en una mejor época, no lo sé. Porque el otro día para ir a la mina mexicana también era casi seguro que no iba a poder, según mucha gente, porque estaba lleno de hielo y de nieve.
The track rises higher, weaving through cold, barren slopes. Even with pain in his back, he continues, explaining how long rides sometimes feel like the only relief. Eventually, the ruined hotel appears, quiet, broken, yet striking in its abandonment. The walls are fractured, the roof partially collapsed, but the structure remains standing in the middle of empty land. Charlie plans to camp inside to see whether the rumors about strange voices have any truth. Before sunset, a couple recognizes him.
Una pareja, Ramiro.
Hola.
Emilia, ven. Y han llegado y lo primero que he dicho es, me cago en la mar, me va a tocar esperar más rato. Porque quería estar solo aquí. Pero la vida es muy, muy maravillosa.
Claro que sí.
¿Me conocéis? ¿Me seguís?
Sí, obvio. Desde hace mucho.
Y entonces, nada, nos hemos estado charlando un rato, bla, 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 bla. Y al final del todo ya nos estamos despidiendo y dicen, ¿necesitas algo? Me han dicho. Y yo he dicho, leña. Diciendo, ¿no tenéis leña? Sí, tienen leña. Me dejan una parrilla, leña. Pero de repente Ramiro ha dicho, ¿qué has dicho?
Te dejo una entrañita.
¿Cómo? No os estoy dejando sin comer, ni cenar, ni nada. Seguro, ¿no?
Segurísimo. Dos entrañitas.
No, una.
No, las dos son chiquitas.
¿En serio?
Seguro.
Se me saltan las lágrimas, de verdad. Gracias, de verdad, ¿eh?
Bueno.
Nos alegramos mucho.
En fin. Bueno, pues nada.
Muy feliz con tus aventuras.
Gracias, de verdad. Bueno, pues voy a pasar la noche aquí. Voy a meter la moto dentro.
Ramiro and Emilia offer him a small gift, 2 pieces of beef and some firewood. The gesture feels sincere and unexpected. Charlie thanks them with a smile and later moves his motorcycle into the main hall for protection. As night comes, he builds a small fire and cooks the meat over makeshift coals. The sound of the sizzling fat and the warm glow of the flames make the room feel alive. He calls it an exceptional meal. Simple, rewarding, and well-deserved. While eating, he explains the history of the hotel. Built in 1938, once a luxurious destination, later abandoned and left to decay. After finishing dinner, he explores the basement with a flashlight. Dust lines the floor and shadows fill the narrow corridor. He admits the atmosphere feels odd, not threatening, yet undeniably heavy. Soon he returns to his tent and ends the night quietly. By morning, he says he heard voices during the night, then laughs softly, explaining it was just the wind.
Buenos días. Desde el Hotel El Sosneado hace un frío que te cagas. La noche la he pasado perfecta. Sí que he escuchado voces, si os soy sincero. Obviamente no eran voces, era el viento, pero sí que por momentos parecían voces.
Viewers debated what he actually heard. Some insisted it was only air slipping through open windows, while others believed the building held something older, a memory that never faded. The silence, more than any ghost story, was what many found unsettling. Charlie later asked if others would sleep there. One viewer replied that watching the video was scarier than being in the hotel. Maybe it truly was the wind, or maybe the place wasn't entirely empty. That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.